Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Grand Life banners and which ones you should be pulling for, how many copies do you want to pull for. I would also like to welcome back everyone into the Grand Life scenario for those people who have retired during the Make a New Track scenario. So now let us move on to the Grand Life scenario banner. We have Winning Ticket and Narita Taiishin. These horses are kind of side grades, while Winning Ticket is straight up an upgrade because the OG Winning Ticket has a very horrendous skill, the Hard Worker. At least the Steampunk Winning Ticket does have some medium skills that are a little bit better than that super random skill. For Steampunk Taiishin, she does sacrifice Imminent Shadow for Rise from the Ashes, which is really bad because Imminent Shadow is literally Taishin's main gimmick. Taishin's main gimmick is that she straight up has Imminent Shadow, which is 0.4 XL, which beats every other end closer if you can stack a lot of mid legs on her. With Mr. CB now out, it is very easy for you to do that, so you always want to use the OG Taiishin most of the time. But if the track does not allow for Imminent Shadow, then you can go and use the Steampunk for the medium track, because sometimes the mediums, they don't have a straight line, they have a corner instead, so that's when this horse can become a little bit better. But otherwise, medium will be dominated by Xmas and V-Bourbon, so you don't really need to do much else. Right, after that we have Tokai Teo Wit and Twin Turbo Guts. Very easy skip. If you can read the explanations yourself, it's just Professor of Curvature from Teo Wit and also Poorer Output, and Turbo Guts is just a skill monkey card, that's about it. We have Biwa Haya Hide Stamina, which is a VIP pass card. It's a budget stamina card for F2Pers. If you have Super Creek, just skip this. Then we have Yukino Bijin. This is a horse with NSM built in, similar to Cheerleader Nice Nature, Gamble Horse, right? Unfortunately, her long aptitude is E, so it's a little bit harder for you to use NSM on the long CMs, but she does have B on dirt aptitude, so if you want to, you can try to gamble on dirt CMs. Otherwise, this horse is not that notable except as a NSM gambler, or maybe even a Nimble Navigator grandparent or something like that. Then we have a Smart Falcon Power and Science Suzuka. These are again frontrunner cards. The Falcon card is good for parenting because of the center stage as well as groundwork, and Suzuka Speed is good for unrestrained for those tracks and sprint tracks. Sometimes those tracks, they allow for unrestrained, so you might want to go and hunt it down. That's when the Suzuka card becomes a bit more relevant. Otherwise, if you're F2P, very easy skip. Next we have Seeking the Pearl. Seeking the Pearl is a short horse, not really a mile horse, but she's basically going to be very strong on the short CMs. She has head on, which is very valuable for shorts and for miles. She also comes with Umamusume, which is very good for sprints because sprints is very popular to just throw pace chasers, notably Bakushin, Air Groove, El Condor, all of them are pace chasers. So you usually will see a lot of them just run it down in the pace chaser position, so Umamusume can help her to not really get blocked by them, and you don't have to go and hunt down for it in your parentage. Right, she also has a lot of good short skills and mouse skills, such as Golden Sprint Straightaways, which is very solid, so she has a lot of good stuff for that, so she's very, very strong in the sprint CMs. You will see her quite often actually. Right, then we also have the Daichi Ruby card. This is a very strong card, even though it's a power card. Power cards we don't like because it's like a Haru for Grand Life. You want to click speed, you want to click wit. Click wit, get token, get energy back, click more wit, happy, right? But Daichi Ruby Power cannot, because we click power, we lose energy, not so happy, right? But Daichi Ruby Power, the go skill, lightning speed, is so important for the miles and shorts that people are willing to go and hunt down this card just so they can get the lightning speed, so they can gamble the accelerations. So that's why Daichi Ruby Power is a niche but very important card to consider. So that's why I want you guys to try to save your borrow slots as much as possible. Try to get all the core cards first, and then use that borrow slot for these kinds of niche cards here for whenever you want to use a backliner on a short and mouse CM, because lightning speed is just that good. Later on, I believe you can also get this from your Gold City cards, I think, which is a very, very strong card as well, right? The KS Miracle Guts card is at SR. At this point in time, we don't talk about the SR so much because they're just not super relevant anymore. Ment was the last time where SRs are going to be super, super strong. For now, the only significant SRs are going to be Tachyon Wit, and then El Condor Pasa Speed, Current Speed, and Shinko Windy Speed. That's pretty much it. The rest of them are a bit copium. You might as well use like your Super Creek and any other wit card that you might have. Right, after that, we have Agnes Digital and Meisho Doto Halloween. For Agnes Digital, she's a bit of like Agnes Digital, but like slightly different. Basically, this horse wants to be surrounded by 3 other Umas instead for her unique, because she's a lover of Umas, and you must be in the 4th or below. And this horse can be run on dirt again, but she's not as strong as Ricky, so it's just a very good versatile horse to go and use. Halloween Meisho Doto is a horse that can debuff, but the debuff is very small. It's only 0.5 speed for 2 horses in front and 2 horses behind, so it's not that crazy. She does have Golden Head on and also Swinging Maestro built into her potentials, which is quite decent. so it's mostly an Oshi pick again, right? After that, we have Majuro Palmer, Stamina, and Daitaku Helios Wit, both of them frontrunner focused. The Stamina card is going to be weaker than your Super Creek, so it's not that relevant. It has a gimmick of having taking the lead, but you're usually using Mihono Bourbon Wit anyway to go and hunt for that, so you don't really care about that. And then you have the Daitaku card. That card is Golden Slipstream, which is very nice, but by this point S-Maru is already out, so you wouldn't use this on your actual horse if possible, and Kita-san is very, very good for the Grand Life scenario. So this Daitaku Helios card is quite okay, but I would probably relegate it to parentage rather than actually pulling for it. Right, after that we have the Shinko Windy Guts card. This is actually quite good, because it has a gold green, and that means it's good for parenting. Yeah, and then the skill Full of Zeal is also quite nice. It gives you Excel if you are in the first half, so it's good for your fronts and pace. So it's literally perfect for Kopano Riki's parent farming if you're looking for that. Right, so this is a very, very significant card. Please don't kill this card. It's good for Kopano Riki and Joyous. Alright, after that, Aston Machan. Sprint horse front runner position. Very good. I have half my heart belongs to this horse, but I cannot pull this horse because I'm poor at this point in time. Alright, what happens with this horse is that this horse has groundwork, taking the lead, and frontrunner savvy. You literally have 3 pieces of the frontrunner kit built into your character. Alright, you only need 1 more skill to proc a groundwork, and she has also a very solid speed and acceleration unique for those sprinting CMs. Later on there will be a Valentine Machan, which is really damn crazy also for League of Heroes sprinting, and that will be a much stronger version of Machan. So Machan is very relevant, but unfortunately for Machan, this version of her at least, is that the frontrunners for now are not going to be super duper strong on sprints. It's usually pace chasers and late surges that win on the sprint CMs. Even though you might think that the front runner just runs it down all the way. No, actually pace and lates actually win more, especially since Lightning Flash just came out for them, right? They have Head On, they have Red Nishino XLs, they have like a lot of other stuff, so it's very easy to make pace chasers, and a lot of the pace chasers like Seeking the Pearl, for example, are very, very good for those sprint CMs, so they are just very, very easy to go and make. Bakushin can just run it down, Oguri can just run it down. It's a very, very accessible place for pace chasers to just go and snipe out the victories, right? So Machan is not going to be super strong, but she's definitely one of the horses that can win the sprint CMs. Then we have the most major banner of all time, your Maruzensky card. This card is so damn good that she reruns 4 times and she can be used for 4 scenarios. It's a very, very good card, right? Even if you're not a front runner, you can use this card. It's just that good, right? At 1 LB, it's already very strong due to her training effectiveness, but you really want to kind of pump her all the way to 3 LB so that you don't have to suffer the lower friendship bonus. And of course, if you have other speed cards to compensate, you don't have to go and pull this card. For example, if you already wailed for Kita-san and Biko, you kind of don't really need to go and push for Maruzensky speed unless you are frontrunner main. If you are frontrunner main, this card is no exceptions, you must go and pull, because it has too much frontrunner good stuff that is basically a mandatory card for frontrunners. The other card, the Fine Motion, will expire in 3 to 4 months. When Ramonu comes out, what happens is that during Grandmasters, you can use 2 wit cards, but then in LoH, you can only really use 1 wit card. So Fine Motion will get deleted and then you just use Majuro Ramonu instead. If you don't have Ramonu, unfortunately, then you have to use Fine Motion as the copium card. But at least Fine Motion is pretty decent. But when you look at Ramonu versus Fine Motion, it's like, holy shit. Ramonu has 1 million skills, Fine Motion has Speed Star. That's like the difference, right? So this is a very good banner, especially for those coming back from a long break during the Make a New Track times. I know a lot of you will be coming back. This is a very good comeback banner. That's why they put a lot of the good comeback banners in Grand Life, because they want you to come back, right? So this is a very good banner to come and buy back into the game, right? Next we have Seeking the Pearl again, and Daichi Ruby Power again, 1 for 1, the exact same banner. The reason that the banner is repeated is because there was a payment issue in JP, so they repeated this. But if I don't know if they'll actually do it here again, but most of the time I think Cygames is going to be very lazy, so they'll probably just put the 2 banners exactly the same, and they probably don't want to accidentally accelerate everything too fast again by moving everything by 1 banner forwards, which is very problematic on their part also, and might make people angry also, right? Because hey, this was supposed to be a resting banner, right? Now you force the banner in front, now I'm cooked. Right, anyway, regardless, this banner is rerun. You can just kind of ignore this banner if you were not pulling it, and you can pull this banner if you needed a few more copies because you didn't pull on the previous banner. Right, after that, we have Yaminin Zephyr, which is a pace chaser built for Mao because of her golds, right? And she's sometimes okay, and most of the time never meta, so you don't really have to go and pull her. I believe a few of the times she was considered A tier, and sometimes her unique is also inherited. But it's for very, very specific tracks, so it's not really a very important horse for you. You can just borrow it when the time comes. After that, we have Symbolic Chris S Stamina. This one needs an honorable mention because this is the first ever card to introduce Lose Yourself, which is Buga. Buga is a late serger long skill specifically. It's so specific that every late long must get this skill. It's mandatory. You literally have to get it. And this is the only way to get it. So it's not a must pull. You can borrow this, but if you are trying to do late long, you will really, really want to get this card because that acceleration is literally perfect NSM. But it's for lates only and it's for long only. Right? Later on, when Sakura Laurel comes out, who is a super duper long main, this skill is mandatory and makes her very, very strong on her. And there will also be another card that comes later, the Manhattan Cafe Wit card, which is very, very good. Then for the Surumaru Tsuyoshi, you can just ignore it, it's not that relevant. In Grand Life, the meta is speed plus wit plus light hello, mandatory. Alright. After that, we have New Year Tamamo Cross and New Year Inari 1. This is a very nice banner actually because the skins are very nice. I like Tamamo Cross's one much more, honestly. But for the difference between the actual horse and these horses, what happens is that Tamamo really becomes a very medium focused horse and she's very solid. She's really very solid. She has a 0.25 speed for 6 seconds, similar to Koship, and she gains more target speed if she activates skills during her unique. And then her innate kit has so much mid leg that she's just very, very strong. So she's just a very generically good horse that can be used for mediums in particular. Right? Then for Festival Inari 1, she's actually going to be the second horse that gets Encroaching Shadow. So she can be used for your dirt CMs, can be used for any CM where Encroaching Shadow is a relevant skill, but also need to go and double check her unique whether it's going to be very strong for those CMs. Right? She can also be used as a parent if you want to pass down certain skills, so you can just go ahead and look at her if you want to. Right? But otherwise, Inari 1 is not going to be super notable. Even for dirts, unfortunately, Kopano Riki exists, so it's a bit of a tough sell, honestly. Right, after that, we have Yeno Muteki Guts and Oguri Cap Wit. A very, very easy one to skip just because for the Oguri Cap Wit is going to be a Pace Chaser card and the skill is not something that you would scream, I wish I had this skill. It's not that good of a card to go and use. Then we also have the Yeno Muteki Guts, which is basically another Pace Chaser medium focus card that will give killer tunes, so that's quite nice, but you also don't really need to put a Guts card into your deck, right? You can use this as a parent card, but otherwise I wouldn't use this as an actual card to hunt down for killer tunes. Then we have Major Ardent Speed. It's a free card, it's fine. The art looks nice according to my editor, so that's all I can say here, right? And after that we have Nakayama Festa, which is a late surger medium focus horse. She's literally a gambling horse, so I have to mention her. She's really very funny. What she does is that her goal skills are literally gambling skills. One is a target speed of 0.45, but the stamina drain I believe is a gamble, so you could lose stamina when you use this. The other one is a chance to get 80 speed, power and guts, and you're like, wow, that's a lot. But if you are the top 3 Umas in the lobby, you have 30% chance of getting this. But if you're bottom 4 onwards, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 horses in popularity, you get 60% chance to get this. This is to represent the underdog power of Nakayama Festa, but it ends up becoming just a straight up 50-50, do I hit this or do I not hit this? Alright, so Nakayama Festa is only for the true gamblers. Do not ever tell me this horse is better, but when you win, it's gonna be so good, cause the guy looking at you is like, holy shit, this guy just hits like crazy. That's all I can say. Alright, so that's the Nakayama Festa for you. It's a literal gambling horse. I cannot recommend it, but if you want to gamble, you go ahead. Next, we have the other comeback banner. So there's 2 comeback banners for people who are coming back to the game. Maruzensky Speed plus Fine Motion and Mr. CB plus Super Creek Stamina. Another very, very good banner with Mr. CB giving you very good stat lines and also a good end closer skills. So it's just a very solid card, and notably Super Creek. This is the straight up generalist stam card all the way until like Sounds of Earth, which is a long time from now. Right, so this is just the straight go-to card, and even when Sounds of Earth is out, you can choose not to pull it straight up. You can just choose to use Super Creek even then. It's just a bit worse, but it's still very good. Right, it's literally the de facto stamina card. Those who do not have it, please try to get it during this period of time. Right, every single account will benefit from this banner over here. CB is less priority. The Super Crit is the real treasure here. Alright, the Super Crit is really the big treasure here. Next, we have Wonder Acute. This is a dirt-focused horse. Her unique is a current speed increase as well as target speed if she is in a dirt race and she's close to the lead with 300 meters remaining. Unfortunately, Kopano Riki exists, so we can just kind of ignore this one again. Right, after that, we have Aishin Speed SSR and Narita Top Road SR. The Aishin Speed is actually really good. It's a late surger card. It gives you a late surger straightaways golden version, and then also it gives you 2 speed bonus, 2 power bonus, 1 SP bonus, 65 priority, 10% TE, just a lot of great stuff, right? But it's so expensive, and there's so much good stuff later. Late surgers, there's so much good stuff in like this period of time that I would tell you just to skip this. Later on, there's gonna be Jungle Pocket, and also your New Year Satono Diamond, and also your Neo Universe, and your Sakura Laurel. There's so many things you need to pull, like I would just skip this. I can't afford it, right? So I'm just going to suggest that to you guys as well. Then we have Narita Top Road Power, which is a power card, so you know, whatever, power card, just skip. Don't need to talk about power cards really. You never want to put power cards in your deck if you can help it, right? After that, we have Vodka and Daiwa Scarlet Christmas. These horses are very fun because they are rivals in real life, right? And they were basically made for specific tracks in these 2 versions of them at least. The Vodka version is built for Tokyo Yushun because of the very specific requirement of a downhill and also very specific bonus acceleration for Tokyo. Then for Daiwa Scarlet, she's specifically for Arima Kinen. Then that's where you want to basically use her, but Daiwa can also be used on other longs as long as her unique triggers correctly, right? But otherwise, those 2 horses are basically kind of pushed into those roles. So hyper specialist and also, you know, low accurate, right? After that, we also have Narita Brian Power and Air Groove Wit. Air Groove Wit is another late surger card. It gives you Fast and Furious, it gives you SP bonus again, 1 wit bonus, 2 speed bonus, right? Like I said, one of the power creeps in my streams, right? I always say like all your future cards, all of them will get SP bonus. Here's an example. Literally another card that has SP bonus. Wow, great. I love SP bonus. Right? It has 65 specialty priority, 5% TE, 2 speed, 1 wit, 1 SP. Great stuff. Right? So it's okay for late surgers. But again, there's so much good stuff later. I think you need to save. You really do need to save because there's going to be so much important cards to pull for later on. Really, really too many. Right, Narita Brian Power is a Pace Chaser power card and again, suffers from the power, right? But it does give some really nice new skills like True Worth and Firm Step, which is Leader Medium and Leader Long. So those are actually quite usable and can be used as a parent card. That's all I can say for this. Then we have Sakura Laurel Stamina, which is great for free to plays. Like it gives Daredevil a 0.35 target speed and 0.1 XL, and she has the white version of Lose Yourself, and she's quite solid for parent farming. And stat wise, this card also gives 2 stamp bonus and 1 guts bonus, which is nice. The only bad part is the 35 specialty priority. But if you are free to player and you're really desperate for stamina, this is a really nice card with very good bonuses to help to pump up those stat lines. So you can consider using this if you are a free-to-player, otherwise don't bother. Right, after that we have the Zeno Rob Roy. Similar to her card, the gimmick is that she can choose left hand or right hand. The horse can also do the same, and other than that, there's nothing too particularly crazy about this horse to mention. She's not going to be too meta in any case, right? Then we have a Light Halo Mayano Top Gun. At this point, Grandmaster coming, we are going to be poor during Grandmaster, don't pull this banner. Light Halo is too late already. Mayano Top Gun Speed is going to give you Restless and Head On. At this point in time, Head On we can hunt down from anywhere already, from horses as well as from cards. There will be much better cards to hunt down Head On later on, right? Moving on, we have the first of a very long line of very good horses to pull. We have Narita Brian Blaze. This horse is a pace chaser designed for long and she's ridiculously strong for long. She has a unique for 0.55 target speed. Whoa, yeah, I know, 0.55 is huge. Then she also has Monster. Monster is a 0.4 acceleration for long for pace. Locked to long and pace only. Long pace only. Alright, every single pace chaser must get Monster when it's available. Alright, she will be very, very meta relevant for every single long CM. If you need a pace chaser, use this one. Done. She will be able to win every single long CM for you every single time. Alright, she will be very, very strong, and you can even slap a runaway to make her even stronger. Later on, when Chrono Genesis comes out, you can use Chrono plus a Chariot to just run it down also. That will be when Brian Blaze doesn't really become that strong also. And when the card comes out as well, that's when Brian Blaze also doesn't become that strong as well, but she's still ridiculously strong. The reason why is because the card gives access to Monster, but Brian's unique is just so damn good. So that's why she's still very relevant, right? Then after that, we have the Yamanin Zephyr Guts, which is just skip it. I'm not even going to talk about it. Feel free to read the description, but I'm not going to talk about it. Waste of time, right? We're not going to pull this card. Next, we have Satono Diamond New Year. This is a front runner Uma, and also is a pretty niche parent. You do not have to pull this for parenting because it only appears every now and then. This is basically the medium version of Kitasan Black, but it's for her niche races. This was basically for her Tennosho Autumn and Osaka High race. So she's going to be a 2000 meters horse, and her unique basically works very well on those tracks. As an ace, she is very solid, and she can also be used because she has taking the lead innately built, which is very good because you don't have to use Mihono Bourbon, and you have also Escape Artist innately, so that's very, very solid. So she's very, very good as a parent for niche tracks, and also very good for mediums as well. Then we have Satono Diamond, who is now a long late surger horse again, because the OG version is also a long late surger horse. But this version of her has Lose Yourself, Muga, literally inbuilt into a kit, which is a very strong privilege actually. You don't have to use a very mediocre stamina card to go and hunt down the Lose Yourself card, the skill. Right? Her unique also gives you target speed and recovery, so that's very nice. And also you have Stamina Siphon on her Potential 5, which is another gold recovery and stamina drain. So she's a very solid long late surger ace again. So with this, we basically have OG Kitasan for long front, we have Seiyun Sky Ballroom for long front, we have Narita Brian Blaze for long pace, and we have Satono Diamond New Year for long late. And then end closers were already okay on long. You can use your Gold Ship, Tamamo, whoever you want. All of them already have specialists. So long become a little bit less like end versus front already. Right, moving on. We have Sweep Tosho Wit and Special Week Stamina. The Special Week Stamina gimmick is that it has NSM, so that's like the strongest gimmick it has. But otherwise, you would just use Super Creep most of the time, because if you need to go for a long CM, you would want to get the gold recovery, right? But if you need a little bit of stamina, you don't want to use a stamina. You don't want to use a stamina card in the first place. You rather shove in a Wit card and full inherit the stamina, right? So yeah. That's something to consider if you are trying to use this card here for NSM. It's a bit difficult because you want to use Super Creek for the recovery. Unless your horse has the recovery, in which case you can try to hit the stamina requirement with NSM. So that's something you can try to do. Then we also have Sweep Tosho Wit, which does give you a 0.4 acceleration as long as you are not rushed. The card output wise, however, is worse than a lot of the other Wit cards, so it's not exactly a very important card to go and hunt for. And then after that, we have Grass Wonder Power. It's a power card. Let's just not talk about it next. We don't have to talk about this one. F2P, you also won't use. Don't worry about it. Right, after that, we have Hoko Tarome. This is mainly a dirt horse. Her unique is a 0.4 acceleration on the final leg if she's blocked. She has a gold recovery in her kit, which is weird for the mile, but okay for the medium. And she's not as strong as Riki. Yep, that's the summary. She's just not as strong as Riki. So she's just okay. She can win you some games, but Riki exists, so it's just a tough game. After that, we have Agnes Tachyon Speed and Teo Wit. Again, Teo Wit, Professor of Curvature, mediocre stats. Don't care. Agnes Tachyon Speed, too late. If you want to MLB it at this point, you can. If you are a locked-in full pacer, alright, you have to be straight up. I force pace no matter how bad, no matter how good they are. That's the only time I can even recommend you pulling this Agnes Tachyon Speed at this point in time, because there's going to be so many other good banners after this. Next, we have 6-7, Helios herself. Right, Helios, I always talk about her. Every time there's a Mao race, every time it's League of Heroes, it's Helios. Every time for now, until much later, and it's Mao, it's Helios again. Alright, Helios is just built for Mao. She can be used on sprint, but her go skills are all Mao. So you have Mao Demon Lord over here. Until Grand Allegria comes out, this horse is basically like one of the Mao horses. Right? The other Mao horses, you know, they can play in Mao, but Helios is sometimes so good in the Mao track that she's like the horse to talk about for that Mao track. You will see many Helioses, and you can use her front. You can technically use her pace also, because her skills just require her to be in the front places, right? So she's very strong, and she's very good. Feel free to pull this horse. She's very usable for a very long time. We have a Rice Shower Halloween and Urara New Year rerun. This one's basically an Oshi pick. You go and read whether you want to go and pull them or not, because meta-wise, they're not meta at all, but sometimes you may want to try to make your favorite cute horse win. Next, we have KS Miracle Guts. This is the more famous KS Miracle Guts. This is the one that actually gives you golden hit-on. You want to probably borrow this Notably, head-on will get buffed, and also all the other like on your left will get buffed. So that's why these skills will become more relevant. But KS Miracle Guts is one of the ways to hunt down this golden head-on, and it's very, very important, especially for sprints and for miles, because they are shorter, and shorter means it's more volatile, means you want to gamble more to win. Right, this Guts card also comes with 2 power bonus on the unique effect, so it's actually quite solid as well as a Guts card. So it's a niche card, try to borrow it, but if you're a whale, pull it so I can borrow from you, thank you. Right, we have Taiki Shuttle Speed. This card is actually really good for front end pacers, for Mao racers, because she gives Mao Maven and she has speed bonus, power bonus, and I believe SP bonus. So this card is highly nichely Mao. So if you are a whale and you pull this, whenever a Mao appears, some people will borrow this card because it's really that good. But for every other F2P here, you can't afford it because it's a speed card. And you already have good speed cards, so you should save for other stronger cards. So you will save for your El Condor Pasa later on, and you will save for your Major Ramonu later on. But for the whale, if you want to pull this, I am not opposed to pulling this, just because some CMs that Mount Maven is quite useful, especially if you are forcing pace chasers in that CM. After that, we have another legendary banner. This Ines Fujin, till this day, is meta in JP. Till this day, till this day. Because this Ines Fujin for League of Heroes is so damn flexible. You have Mao, you have medium, you can throw in long if you want to. Literally anything you want, you just throw it in there. And the other things that she has is she has 2 fast learner events. You should know that in JP, the skill pages go to 3 or 2 pages long. So the fast learner is extremely, extremely valuable for SP, and Ines Fujin is really, really good at getting that fast learner because she has 2 chances, right? So re-rolling with her is very, very good. In addition, her unique is basically the same as V-Bourbon. So you get speed and you get recovery. Lovely. Then you also have concentration in your natural kit, and you have early lead and groundwork. So it's super comfortable. So it's like a brainless, easy horse to make for front runners. And of course, there's a good ceiling to try and achieve like DDPP, your mild S, your medium S, blah blah blah. But the horse has so much good stuff inside of her. And every time it's League of Heroes, it's really front meta. So every player, really every player, should try to get V Ines Fujin or V Bourbon if possible. This is just preparation for League of Heroes. And of course, you can always pull a random banner to get V Bourbon and all these other old horses if you want to. Alright, you can use selectors also if you are wanting to use those to go and pick up all these older horses in the times of League of Heroes. Right, then we have Majuro Ryan. Majuro Ryan is a bit weird because her unique is super specific. If there's a downhill during the end of mid lane, you will be able to get a nice target speed. And you also get 0.1 acceleration if you race in a medium track. And even though that condition is there are some sprints where that unique is really good because of the speed alone. So that's why sometimes you do see Majuro Ryan in some sprint CMs. So it's very funky, but she's actually really strong on the sprint CMs as well. So Ryan is a specialist for medium technically, but I see her in sprints also, so she's a very funky horse. Not a super high priority one, as other horses can just fill your sprinter slots for sprint, as like you can use Bakushin, Agroof, Oguri, just gamble, you win, right? So it's not really a big need to go and pull Majuro Ryan Valentine, but she can be used for those CMs if you want to. Then we have Marvelous Sunday Speed and Biko Pegasus Power. Just skip, honestly. just skip. There's no reason to pull these. There's going to be so much better stuff, so we are not going to talk about this one that much. Feel free to read if you want to understand why. And then you have Hishi Akebono Wit, which gives Plan X for sprints, which is fine. And the stat output is pretty solid for F2P card because it has 1 Wit bonus and 1 SP bonus, but no training effectiveness. Only the F2Pers will actually use this card as their Copia Wit card for now. Right? Then we have Shinko Windy. Shinko Windy is another dirt horse, so it's the Kopano Riki treatment again. But Shinko Windy unique is actually quite fun. Her gimmick is that she wants to duel someone. She'll say, let's fight, and her unique requires her to duel someone. So if you get dueling with her, you get additional acceleration on dirt, and it is possible to win with her. That's the only thing I'll say here. It is possible. It's just that Kopano Riki exists, so 9 times out of 10 my money's on Kopano Riki. Alright, Shinko Windy, you can use her if you want to, but she's not that great. Alright, after that, hey look, it's another Maruzensky speed rerun. I told you guys, they always rerun this card because it's gonna be relevant for a very, very long time. Then they also reran it with the Nishino Flower Wit. This card gives you the Determined Descent, the gold version of your straight descent, which is okay for some tracks, so you can use it for those tracks, but otherwise please do not pull for the Nishino Flower Wit, only pull for the Maruzensky speed. But also, maybe don't pull it here, because the next banner is horrendous. Alright, the next banner is straight up Majiro Ramonu Wit. So yeah, it's basically a bait banner, the classic, here's a character that is really nice, and then after that, bam, they hit you with the awesome scenario banner that is a mandatory pull. Alright, so it's the classic I milk you dry kind of combo here. So don't fall for the bait, just skip the Maruzensky speed here, and hopefully you got it earlier. That's my hope. Alright, for this area here, we have Mr. CB and Twin Turbo. Twin Turbo is a runaway Uma that will nuke herself. At the end of the run, she will minus her current speed by 999 seconds, which is basically the whole race. So she will just nuke herself, allowing any of your backliners to overtake very easily. So she's basically the very fun option to use to just kind of run away and then explode her at the end, so that your horse can Nimble Navigator or NSM and then run it all the way to the end of the game. As an ace, she's not great, but as a chariot, as a rocket launcher, she's a very, very good horse. Right, after that, we also have Mr. CB. This is another very strong encloser. She's the third horse to have Encroaching Shadow. Taiishin, CB, and Festival Inari 1. CB will be champion for medium and long, notably when the LoH track comes, then Mr. CB will be quite demonic, alongside Neo Universe. Then when it's a Mao CM, Taiishin is actually better, because Taishin's unique tends to work when the final corner is good, and Mao CMs allow final corner to be good for the Nemesis speed carryover. Alright, so that's the explanation for Taiishin and explanation for Mr. CB difference. But for Mr. CB, her medium and long is very, very solid. Her unique is very nice. As long as she's 20 meters away, she will get a 6 seconds, very nice duration of 0.35 speed, and she will be very strong. So she is very good, but unfortunately, this banner, the horse, is alongside Majiro Ramonu. This is the Demon Lord card, the best wit card of the times. We will use this card for LoH and this scenario, and even beyond LoH, we can still use this card. Even if you cannot pull the next awesome wit card, you can still keep using Ramonu. And she's still very good every time there's a medium ML, because she gives those skills, which is very, very good. Her list of skills is huge, so I will not cover all of it, but you can see a picture for yourself. And her third chain event gives Ascendance, which is a mild and medium skill only. So this is basically like a Professor of Curvature, but mild and medium, basically. Right? In terms of stats, she also gives 2 wit and 1 SP. And her unique effect is so awesome. She gives 4% training effectiveness every time you basically own or buy a speed skill. It's so awesome. Literally so awesome. The TE is locked behind the unique effect, so you want to at least 3LB it to gain the wit stats, alright? This is a must pull card, alright? It's straight up must pull, there's no exceptions, there will be free pulls. So pull this banner. All resources here. There's gonna be so much bait here into Ramonu that it's gonna be so hard for you to save your money until this point. And then even after this, there's more stuff to pull. So just take note of that for this Ramonu banner. It's a must-have. Luckily, in Grandmasters, you can still shove in one more wit card alongside Ramonu. So one card is Ramonu, and the other card is going to be a +1 wit card like CB or Fine Motion or whatnot. Alright, so you must go and pull this card. And then afterwards, there's also Ancestors and Guides. So this is I think one of the first times that they actually split the... No, not the first time. This is the second time that they split the scenario banner as well as the scenario awesome card. The Majiro Ramonu is separate from Ancestors, and you must get Ancestors. Ancestors is really important. It gives you Uma Stand on the first chain. The gold skill is a mid-leg skill and also has a stamina recovery. And this card is mandatory for the Grandmaster scenario because it gives you the tokens for the Grandmaster scenario. I forgot the term for the token, but it gives you like another +1 token when you click it, so you really want to do it. The limit breaking for this one is more punishing because they realize they can squeeze more money by making you pull more. So what they did was they put the training effectiveness on the 3LB portion. So the 1LB no more TE, the 3LB then the TE starts. So that's what happens. The 1LB only give you stamp bonus, that's it. So if you are really poor, just use 1LB. Alright, if you're super poor, 0, okay? And then 3LB for the rich, and then borrow angle for the copers. The problem with borrowing it, right, is that the niche cards like your Lightning Flash, your KS Miracle, you will not be able to borrow them. So that is quite painful. Just try to get the white versions. It will still be okay. Alright, so that's all I can say for ancestors and guides. It sucks that it's separated, but I believe after this point, they would put the scenario card and the major wit card or speed card alongside and the scenario card. So you will pull both of them on the same banner. Right. So yeah, just take note of that for this banner over here. It's going to be very closely after Major Ramonu, and there's going to be more horses after this point. So take note that after this point, there's still going to be more banners. I will not showcase all of them. I have no time to talk about the rest of them. There will be a lot of very important horses, especially for late surges, and a lot of important cards, especially for late surges again. So this period of time is going to be the late surger shilling period. So they're going to shill late surges like crazy. The meta will shift from here on out into late surges with Neo ruling medium and Laurel ruling long. And then after that, for your shots and mounts, those will still remain in the hands of the fronts as well as the pace chasers. While the Dirt CM will be ruled by two horses, Xmas Oguri and Kobano Riki. That will be the meta understanding for the rest of this Grandmaster period here. Alright, so that's pretty much all I have to say over here. I hope that this has helped you to plan and understand what you are aiming for. I highly recommend you to main a specific position because it's going to get really expensive if you are dipping your hands into every single thing. Try to main something and stick with it all the way. If you want to be super meta much later, Pace Chasers is very good. But of course, there will be plenty of hand-holding horses that will hard carry you, such as Orphe for end closers. Late surges for now, Laurel and Neo are very, very stupidly strong. And then later on, there will be Still in Love, and Maya Groove, Almond Eye, and so on and so forth to hard carry you in the different positions as well. But of course, you would try to get the generic cards and then try to pick up a few niche cards along the way for your favorite horses. So just choose your way of planning and then adapt to it. Alright, so that's it guys. If you have any other questions, please go to the Discord. The Discord has plenty of people who understand this stuff and can explain it to you better. And then after that, if you need me to explain it to you, feel free to go to my Twitch streams or my YouTube streams, or just DM me using Ko-fi because I get a lot of DMs, so I don't want to answer all of them, sorry. Right, so that's pretty much it guys. Thanks for watching and I shall see you guys next time. Bye bye.